Hi guys, my name is Tom Richards. I'm a professional squash player with a highest world ranking of 12 from England, and I'm 35 years old, so I've been on tour for quite a long time now, so very much a tour veteran. I've been asked to answer a few questions, so here goes. This is very dependent on the time of the season and kind of whether you're in competition or out of competition. So I'll go with out of competition and just general training. For me, a normal week would look like one squash session a day, which is fairly self-explanatory, and one sort of other session. So that could be, for me personally, running or bike. And then you've got weight sessions, circuits, things like that. Sort of the one benefit and negative of squash is that you need lots of different fitness systems. You need to work on lots of different things. So it means that your training can be very varied, which is good, keeps it interesting, but also means that you have to do a lot of different things. So, you know, it's hard work, but we all know squash is a hard game. So you've got to be willing to put those hard yards in. But luckily for me, it's something that I've always kind of enjoyed. I enjoy running, I enjoy that side of things, and obviously enjoy playing squash. So yeah, that would be sort of my standard week. So growing up, firstly I'll deal with squash. Jonathan Power and Peter Nicol would be my two sort of the guys I sort of looked up to mainly. Very different players, but they were sort of had a really interesting rivalry for a long time. Peter Nicol being a bit closer to home, I was lucky enough to sort of get on court with him a little bit, play him a couple of times, get a bit of coaching. And then Jonathan Power, sort of more mercurial character, but one that you sort of would enjoy watching because you never knew what you're going to get, and it kept it exciting. And two very different types of players, which I guess sort of kept their rivalry really interesting. And then outside of squash, I'd say cricket's probably my sort of favourite sport to watch. So growing up again, Graham Thorpe was a real sort of hero of mine. Played for my county, Surrey, in England, and also played for England. Stylish left-handed batsman. And then sort of more modern players would be James Anderson, Alistair Cook, those sorts of guys. And then in football, Freddie Ljungberg, Thierry Henry, both Arsenal greats. Sort of at a time when I was following football very closely, I still do, but yeah, I'd say they're sort of my main sporting heroes growing up. This again is very personal and will really vary from person to person, and it's actually varied for me a lot throughout my career. But I guess it's a bit of a cliche, but the main one is to try and stay in the moment. I remember Nick Matthews saying once that he plays every point like a match point. You can really see that with the way he plays. But it's kind of the best thing is to try and win, or try and sort of forget about the last point. Try and stay in the moment, play each rally as it comes, try and win every rally, obviously. And just remember that pressure's a good thing. If you're under pressure, it means you're in a sort of an important match, an important stage of the match. Nerves are good because it means that it shows you care, and if you didn't have nerves, it'd be a bit odd, to be honest. So yeah, just remembering it's all a good thing. As I said, I've been on tour for a long time, so I've experienced a lot of things and had a lot of good moments, but I'd say sort of the most cherished and funniest moments would just be kind of having a couple of drinks with other players and friends on tour. So I won't delve too deeply because it could be here all day, but probably the single funniest trip I've ever had is to Nigeria to play a tournament. We were sort of due to be put up in a hotel, but that wasn't going to work, or soon became apparent when we got to the hotel it wasn't going to work. So we ended up luckily coming across a member at the club who agreed to put us up, and there was four of us: myself, Robbie Temple, Joey Barrington, Rob Sutherland, and amazing hospitality, but there was a lot of funny moments, getting sort of lost in taxis, the trepidation of danger, and then the relief when you realise that you actually have made it back to the back to your billets. yeah, I don't want to delve too deeply because, as I said, I could be here all day. But I'd say in general, just the friendships I've made, you know, and the times I've spent kind of just shooting the breeze with friends on tour, really. Easy question for me, 100% would be cricket. It's my favourite sport to watch, probably my favourite sport in general, to be honest. And yeah, I think I've got no doubt that if you were a successful international cricketer, it would be a lot of fun. So yeah, that would be the other sport I'd like to play. Again, this kind of varies a little bit from tournament to tournament, match to match, but in general, I would try and watch a bit of my opponent online. Very easy to do nowadays, not so easy early in my career, but yeah, try and watch a bit, just kind of to get the way that they play sort of fresh in your mind. And then in a more general sense, or kind of on match day, I would eat 4 hours before. It's quite a long time before, a bit unusual. Some people eat, or most people eat a bit closer, but I prefer to feel a bit, I hate the feeling of feeling full when I play, so I eat quite early. And then I'll get down to the courts about an hour before, start warming up 45 minutes before, and then yeah, I sort of go through my processes, get ready, and then play. So again, very general and slightly dependent on what you've got available to you, but you cool down. If there's a bike, try and get on the bike for 10 minutes. I don't stretch because I don't feel like there's a lot of benefit immediately post-match for myself. So I would focus more on getting out of my like sweaty, cold match kit, getting showered, getting warm, having a recovery drink, and then just focusing on food, eating, getting proper sort of like getting a decent meal into myself, because I probably haven't eaten for quite a while. And then yeah, just try and get a decent sleep. Easier said than done when you're playing really late, but yeah, looking forward to the next match. So this, again, as I've got older, more and more bits have got into my squash bag, because I need more to get ready. But first and foremost, I've got my rackets, my Caracal squash rackets, which I've been sort of lucky enough to be using Caracal for a few years now, and really sort of get on well with their rackets. And then I'd have my squash shoes, all the sort of the standard bits you need, your squash shoes to change your kit, wristbands, headbands, things like that. And then sort of to top it off, you know, sort of like to supplement all that, I'd have the things I'd need to warm up. So I'd have a roller, massage ball, skipping rope, a couple of bands, and then just all the sort of the standard normal stuff you'd have in a squash bag, headphones, squash balls, all that sort of side of things. So nothing too funky, but I guess start of my career I probably would have just had the squash rackets and squash shoes, and as I've got older I've needed the bands and the warmth, you know, the skipping rope and all that side of things to get myself going. But yeah, fairly standard, I'd say.